Hey y'all, Wiggle here. Updating you on the potatoes. We're like early to mid-March, Friday, whatever, 10th, 11th, I don't know. I got this hooked up. So this thing's actually, I fill it about, halfway with maybe 2/3 full with dirt, and it seems to handle it. So this is helping us move some compost. So I'm working on the potatoes. I'm going to show you what I got going on here. I'm using that trailer I just showed you, and I'm using our 4-wheel drive farm truck there, just because the way the land is laying. What has happened here over the years, I've been feeding hay over in that area. This is a bee yard, fenced in bee yard, so this, behind where this tank is, really didn't get a whole lot. Even though there's a little bit, we scraped it up, a little bit of compost. But over this gate, I used to feed my hay bales because I have a road here. So I would just drive up or open the gate, push them in or whatever. Anyway, there was a lot of hay here, and it was piled up, so I had pushed it back with my loader just so I can get in and out of this gate. But the way the land is laying, if you see kind of where the loader and the truck is, there's a little rim there, a little ridge. This used to all be a downhill shot. The water would just kind of flow down. It wouldn't really stop here, but now I've created this dam effect. This is why we have the water here. We've got this big soft marshy area. So I'm mining up all of the compost. This is 3 or 4 year old hay that when I pushed it out to a shallower level, it composted much more quickly. So it's mostly finished, and it's it could probably use another year to really be good, but it's not bad where it's at now. We can start using it. I might not grow exclusively in it, but it's a great compost, great additive to soil. So we're just scraping this up and moving it in the truck there, and in the little trailer, and we drive it over here to the potato bed. So my goal is to mine all this out, kind of here to the left where the trees are. You can see where the brown soil is. So just in this area between the fence. So we're going to mine all that out, and I'll show you what it used to look like. I'm going to leave it built up out there. This is actually going to be like a giant pond. And the remnants of our black compost, I'm going to till really shallow just to kind of level it all out. Then we're going to go ahead and put in our permaculture style beds, but they're going to be shallow. So we're going to have walkways with the good dirt raked in between, piled up, and then we're going to plant greens, because we're back here on the back side of these trees. So we're only going to get the morning sun, especially in the summer. We're not going to get vegetable production out of this if it's a fruiting vegetable, but we will get greens. So might try kale, but I'll definitely try some spinach and lettuce. And we'll just fence this over and just kind of block it off from the animals of all sorts, just going to give it a shot. Since we're already here, we're going to, instead of trying to move all the fertility, we're going to try to use some of it that's in place. But I am moving a good deal of fertility, because this is what I'm using on my compost bed. So let me show you that. So over here, this is the potato bed. Now, this was that big pile of unfinished compost. This stuff. Hay, straw mix, and this was deep. It was deep enough that it wasn't breaking down. So I used my little machine over there, that Harbor Freight trencher, and we moved it, dug it, and all that to kind of build these rows. Now we're not finished here yet. Like, we missed a spot here in the middle. We're going to lay down some boards and finish filling in that good compost. I've already got the potatoes in. So here's what they kind of look like. This is kind of a more shallow one. but it's close to what we had. So we just lay the potatoes in every foot. We just space them with our feet, literally our feet. Put one down, eyes up, put your foot down, put another one, put your foot down, put another. So about 12, 13 inches, whatever, apart, which is a pretty decent spacing. And we are getting to the easier. We'll actually probably drive the truck and the trailer up here and lay boards across this way. As we get it built up, we'll wheelbarrow across instead of down. And yeah, we have a little bit too much compost there, but we're just going to leave it. I just want to level out the low spots. I want a lot of dirt on top of those potatoes. Around here, they usually wait till like the end of March to start, 1st of April to put the potatoes in because of frost damage. I'm putting them in now. I didn't chit them. I didn't cut them. I didn't get them to sprout. Didn't cut them and let them scab over. I didn't do any of that. I planted the small ones whole. And we're going to see how that goes. I'm going to get as much dirt on top of them as possible. And when we're done with this, we're done with this. So, but the real goal here is not to grow potatoes, even though we are wanting to grow, because they're a great survival food. They're great, just grow your own. You could buy them cheap now, but what happens if you can't buy them cheap? Then they're worth growing. Right now, it's pretty reasonable to buy them. Price is not bad, even though they have chemicals all over them. Blah, blah, blah. I'm more thinking as if times get hard and you have less stuff available, having the ability and the knowledge that really works to grow potatoes could be a big deal. So I'm just trying different methods. This particular method, I'm all in on one method. So we'll see how that goes. Now I have tried 3 different varieties, or actually 5 different varieties. Kennebec, Red Pontiac, and Yukon Gold. And then I got these Walmart deals here. Red Northland, Gold Rush. So I'm not sure what those are. Red Norland, Gold Rush. And just the little sections at the end here. So, and I think we're probably like at 120 pounds planted or something like that. I didn't plant the biggest ones. We're going to weigh them, and then I'll tell you how many pounds we put in. So, the main goal of this is actually to get my compost composting. This stuff right here is not finished. Can't use it. It's really not good for anything, right? So now it's just the boundary between the rows. This is just, and there's not going to be any weeds growing in that stuff. If they do, my hat's off to them. That's not really a weed-friendly environment just yet. Maybe next year. So I'll put the good soil in between, but this is going to give the air, the moisture, and most importantly the oxygen. It's going to be able to get through this looser dirt. And the nitrogen from the rain is going to get down in there. This is a little bit carbon heavy. So we're going to get the nitrogen and the air and the water down in there. And these beds are going to break down pretty quick. This stuff will break down, a year from now, it's going to look like that stuff in between the compost. So I've taken this piece of land that was basically useless because it was just a big giant pile of hay and manure. And now I'm making it productive, and I'm kicking off my compost, where I can really get it. So my main objective is just the fertility. The potatoes are just a secondary bonus. So we're multitasking with this thing here. So I'm also going to fence it in with the panels here, and then I'm going to put rabbit wire on it, the 2 30-inch, 24, 30-inch, whatever it is, rabbit wire. It seems to work fairly well to keep the chickens out. So I'm just going to go ahead and wire this all in with what I've got. The old fence, I can wrap it around either way, and then I'll put the rabbit wire along the rest of it, keep the chickens out. When the time comes, actually keeping the birds out is not that big a deal, because once we have so much stuff down, they get in here and scratch. They're not going to get down those potatoes. They're not hurting anything. They're helping just, unless they dig a big deep hole or something. But they generally don't do that. Unless they're dust bathing. They're not going to dust bathe. This is going to be too wet. Now I wanted to mention, this is up on top of a ridge. That tank's on the highest part of the land. That high part runs kind of like right right along this road basically. So this is the highest part of the land. The point would be that there's not going to be much water running down. We're at the top. The water's going to hit and run down from here. So there's not going to be any, a lot of times my food forest, like way down there, is at the bottom of the hill where we get all that runoff and we can catch that water. Up here, this is a different deal. But I don't want to or I don't want to irrigate. I don't want to have to water this. So hopefully enough rain and there will be enough moisture retention for the potatoes that we don't ever have to water. We'll see. You know, at the end you might want to water them when it's hot and dry and they really need water, but we'll just see if we have to do that. So this is just really just a giant compost bed growing potatoes. And I'm actually going to do this in other areas where I have, it's even less broken down than this stuff. Even the top's not broken down. But I'll show you that. I have 300 pounds of potatoes I bought. So if it holds true that you get 8 times, you know, that's a ton, literal ton. 2,400 pounds. 2¼ tons of potatoes. I have no idea if we'll reach that, but I will measure it in the end, keep track of the numbers and the varieties, which will be new for me to keep track of things well. I always seem to lose the details. And we'll just see how it goes. So let me know what you think. I am going to try, you know, using like the peels on the big ones, the big potatoes. We're just going to cut the sprouts off, eat the big part of the potato. Then we're going to try to grow just the skin part. It'll have a little bit of potato on it. I've seen people that have had success with that. So the reason being is, well, can you eat some of your food and get some production later out of it? This could be a very important thing. Is there a reliable way to grow more potatoes from just pieces of skin, basically, the part that you wouldn't eat, and then you get the benefit of eating the big potatoes, rather than just cutting up those big ones and letting them try to skin off and all that? I'm not going to do that. Not this year. I cut them up every year, and it's only been a limited amount of success for me. So I'm trying to figure out the least amount of work also. So this should not need a lot of weeding, hopefully. I'm just trying to grow as many potatoes with as little work later. I know that making this giant compost bed is a ton of work. But once this bed is done, we'll have it, and the fertility will be here for a decade. Because you can just see how much material is here. And then if you top dress with a little more spent hay or wood chips or whatever, you can just keep adding in the fertility, but you got it kick-started. And this is a dry, rocky, worthless Virginia ridge on top of red clay. This ridge is the worst. This is actually the worst place on the land to put a garden. That's why I fed up here, because I knew this is not where I was going to grow. So I'm trying in the worst possible environment that I have to grow food. We'll see how that goes. So, questions or comments, let me know. I'm willing to talk to you. I'm willing to get better ideas than what I have. So, get in touch if you want. Anyway, thanks for watching. This is Wiggle Out. Alright, so we got a load of compost, and here's our spacing on our potatoes. All the way down. I'll back right in here with my little rig, and just, we should have come back just a little bit more. This is our first one, so we didn't know. That way we can, a lot of it would just get filled just by us moving the dirt. So it's a little bit, and we're only at about maybe what, 10-11 inches, maybe 12 in some places. So it's not super deep on these potatoes, but that's what we're going to end up with. It's deeper on the right. This is not much deeper. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that before we buried it.